Hey guys, how you doing? This video has been on my computer for months. It's actually the third thing that I had made in the 1800s. And since then, I have made so many things. I think the reason why I didn't like this video was because I couldn't quite figure out where I wanted to, how I wanted to go with it. If I wanted to be, informative, which I'm not, or if I wanted to be, exciting, or if I wanted to do, step by step, this is how you're gonna make the thing. So this video really hit the midpoint of all of those things. But then I filmed a video about getting my hair done. I like to watch it. I've watched it 5 or 6 times because I think it's fun and I think it's silly. And so that's where I'm gonna start to head after all of this. But I am not going to let this video defeat me. I've had most of it filmed, most of it edited for so long, it's coming out regardless. And then at the end of it, I'm gonna show you all, well, not quite all, because one of the more recent things I'm actually gonna film a video about. But all of the 1800s things that I have made since filming my pants video. So, without further ado, this is how I made my first Victorian waistcoat. And I hope that you enjoy it. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting out 5 of this shape that I looked at a waistcoat online and I thought, yeah, this would probably be a good starting shape. And it was. So have a look at this shape, cut it out 5 times. What material am I using? I'm gonna blow your mind. This was a curtain that was, I think, $5 from the op shop. And let me tell you, starting out with a fabric that I don't care about has really, really helped me out, because I was so worried the last time when I was using $100 fabric that it just let me wiggle room a little bit more, wiggle around and experiment more with some fabric that I didn't care about. So yeah, cut that shape out 5 times, and then on that 5th one, you're going to figure out where your collar you want that to be and cut that strip off. I'm now going to interface it, and I'm using some of my old wool from my pants. Not historically accurate, but again, it meant that I could experiment and figure it out because it was just a scrap of fabric. So I'm cutting out 2 of those, and I'm going to sew these onto the waistcoat panel that is going to be touching my body, because that's the one that's going to roll out at the collar and face the outside. So what I'm doing here is called pad stitching. Now, if you're interested in the intricacies of how to do this, there's a little weird diagram on the screen of the way your needle moves horizontally through the fabric as you're running down, making your stitch lines run diagonally. I'm going to link the Bernadette Banner video on this below because she spends a long time unpacking this. But what I'm trying to do here is get the fabric to roll over itself and create that flared out lapel on the vest. And I'm doing that by sewing it over my fingers and rolling the fabric as I go. I didn't explain it very well, but that's why I'm going to link that video. Thanks, Bernadette. You taught me a lot. Now here's something quite important, pressing. So pressing is basically ironing your material the way you want it to sit. As the fibres heat up, they relax, and then as they cool down, they're willing to sit in a new way. This is especially important if you've been a cheapskate and used a scrap piece of wool as your interfacing instead of the correct horsehair canvas. But I don't know anyone who'd do that. Alright, this I'm kind of proud of. So I didn't know how to get the right size back panel, but I did have a shirt that fit me really nicely. So what I've done is pinned the front of my waistcoat to the shirt, measured in a very scientific way here, what dimensions the panels need to be, and then I just cut it out of fabric. And guess what? That worked. I'm as shocked as you are, personally. Okay, when sewing the back panel to the front panel, you're gonna wanna remember that you have arms, and arms need holes. And you also have a head, and that means you need holes for your head as well. This I did not remember while I was doing this, and had to unpick the whole thing. It was great fun. So what I ended up doing was basically making one complete looking vest with, nothing on the inside, and another complete looking vest with just the interfacing on the inside. Sew them all together like if you were making a pillow or something, and then turned them all inside out, leaving the bottom of the waistcoat open to sew, to flip your things inside out and then sew together at the end. Once I've flipped it all inside out, then I've sewn all the way around the edges to keep them nice and crisp and together. I don't think I need to remind you that none of this is historically accurate. I'm only going for the vague silhouette of the 1820s and 30s. This is not how anyone would have done it. I don't even know why I did it like this, but it worked! Okay, we're back to cutting. You ready for a magic trick? I made some rectangles, and then I made some squares. Wow, that was magic. So I'm just gonna sew all the way around them and flip them inside out, just like we did the rest of the waistcoat, but this time it's squares. This is going to act as the place where we're going to draw the two sides of the back of my waistcoat together to give it a more fitted shape. Well, look at that, and now I sew them on to each edge of the back panel so they can meet in the middle. That's right, it's time for buttons. Now if you can't find the right colour for your fabric, you can find it in a Sharpie, apparently. I've since learned that covering buttons with fabric is not that hard, and I should have done that. But we live and learn, don't we? So what I'm doing is I am sewing my buttons shank buttons, mind you, which they seemed to enjoy at the time. And I'm still working on my way of sewing these buttons on without getting loose and falling off. So if you do have any hot tips, put them in the comments below, because I would appreciate them. Okay, now this I am actually quite proud of. What I'm doing here is I'm piercing the back of my two squares that we made earlier to join the fabric together with an awl, and then I'm sewing all the way around the edges of those to keep the holes open. Now this is something that is actually historically accurate. Give myself a round of applause. Thank you, thank you. This actually turned out to be a really beautiful and wonderful and relaxing and calming thing to do. Honestly, I would recommend it. And it does take this whole historical mess of a waistcoat and gives it something that I think is quite special and worth my time. And I'm proud of it. Are you ready to wrap this up? I'm ready to wrap this up. I'm threading this waistcoat together, just like a shoelace, basically. Again, I've learnt since then that there are much better and easier and more efficient ways of tying things up, but it does look nice. So, we'll take it. So yes, as you can see, I've been very, very busy getting this stuff all done. The only one that I actually filmed was the camel colour tailcoat, but I doubt that the footage will ever see the light of day. What I am excited to say is that this has really gotten my 1810s, 1820s sort of simmering away, not out of my system completely, because I still love the look. But my next few videos are going to be a bit more of a variety of eras. I have some 1770s stuff on the way, and then after that we're going to hit Edwardian, and we're going to hit it hard because I am very, very excited to start to recreate some of the items that I actually physically own. So I hope you enjoyed whatever this was, and I hope that you got something out of it, and I hope that you don't mind that it was a bit more scattered than normal. But yeah, subscribe if you want to, that would be nice. Like this video, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.